I wear gloves and I wear a mask. Therefore, I don't need to wash my hands. I'm not sure that's how it works.
All right.
Actually, that's totally not how it works. So what you're trying to tell me right now is that we are live?
Oh yeah.
Oh my. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome.
11:50.
Welcome to the pre-stream where we spend 10 minutes discussing, as it turns out, the importance of good hygiene.
Aha. Okay.
Twitter says it's all cake now.
Twatter.
I like
Wait,
cake.
what is this cake meme now? I mean, like I've just seen.
I don't know.
I've seen one video posted, and then I've seen like a few memes. I'm assuming it's a thing already. I'm just not paying attention.
I don't know. It's just, my cousin was all like,
you really think I was this
I moved it so my gigantic pectorals don't knock it over whilst I walk past it.
So they cleared your...
You know, the, what is it? Oh, yeah, the pectorals. See, I can do it to the beat. Oh, you probably can't even see it on the stream. I'm, like, weirdly good at it. You're too pasty.
You like my color coordination?
I'm slightly color coordinated. I mean, I'm not really wearing double green, but I do spend more time outside than you.
That's true. I don't know.
That's the
I'm
thing.
outside.
I don't know.
Maybe you are more outside than me.
You know,
pretty.
You should join me for a bike ride one day, Chris.
I need a bike.
You do need a bike. Biking is like the best cardio. It's super low impact on the knees. You can do it for a while, and you actually get to see something, right? I mean, when you're running, if you're a halfway proficient runner, shut up.
Is this what mukbangers do?
You disgust me.
They make noises
you
like
don't
right
need
up
to make noise when you're drinking coffee.
up to the microphone. They make like really just like subtle.
Now we're doing ASMR. You know, if you take these microphones and you... and now you're choking.
I almost spit it all over the microphone.
If you take these microphones and you run the left one through the left channel and right through the right channel and like make them stereo, I'm sure we can do like some Gym Bro ASMR. One more rep. You got this, bro. One more rep. Come on, man. You got this. Spot me, bro. Spot me.
Man, I'm really hyped about this remote.
I don't know. You're at the gym and some dude kind of walks up next to you and just starts whispering sweet nothings into your ear. Hey, Chris.
What?
That's a very nice deltoid.
Let's open
I'm
up.
pretty sure this
Twitch.
I'm pretty sure this is the part where the we will never get any early streamers again.
Canceled.
Canceled. We were making jokes about that. Like, how bad do we have to mess up that we get canceled after the second episode?
I would say that it would be one slip up and then we're
It would be
canceled.
one slip up and we're canceled. But it's a good thing that we're
fry an egg on this head, boy. Look at that. Look at this.
you can land an airplane on that forehead of yours. Now, but you guys don't know this because the camera doesn't provide particularly good scale. But Chris's head is gigantic.
I think you can kind of tell.
mean, Chris's head is, like that. Either one of two things will happen, right, with a head like his. That's either a C-section or just a hip dislocation.
The hip dislocation, definitely. I think that's what my mom went through as a.
I think that's.
They had to break her hips first to push my brother and me out.
Yeah, even worse. He has a twin, so his brother also has a large head. They are twins, so they do have some things in common. The gigantic headspace is one of them.
Yes, quite. If
Yeah.
you just let's get a load of this thing. Let's just
But-
turn to the side here.
See, now I wear a hat because I have no hair on my head. And there's some body dysmorphia in there. Like, I don't know, man. This is weird.
I mean, I got a big head.
He does
what
have
I got
a big
going
head.
for me,
He's
you know?
got a massive head.
Man, what time is it?
I don't know. I mean, we'll
7:55. Well, it looks like we sound pretty good.
we do sound pretty good. I just had to mute my phone a little bit. Just trying to keep the Facebook. Oh wow, is that real-time auto-generated subtitles on Facebook?
Holy shit! Really?
Yeah, look at that.
Ah, no shit. I wonder how accurate it is. You ever play that game where you're on YouTube and you just turn like the closed captions on and
Oh,
then
yeah,
you're just
yeah,
like
yeah.
and you'll just see them, say the word completely wrong or it's like very very suggestive like
Yes. My absolute favorite is because I get my voicemails also sent as a text. So when somebody calls me and leaves a voicemail in another language, say like Polish or Spanish, and it'll auto-generate English subtitles for it, and sometimes they're very entertaining.
So I don't know if I can't see them, but there's guitars right next to me. Maybe I should play a guitar.
We all double as musicians. I'm not that good of a guitarist.
Oh, it's
but-
been I don't think I picked up. Well, that's a lie. I did pick up my guitar when I moved in,
Yeah.
but it must have been like I don't know 3 times max since I moved in
Yeah,
like
who
May.
knows? I mean, I'm a keyboardist, so I mean, as far as I can shred a keyboard.
We've seen. Well,
I can
I've seen the video.
I can shred the keyboard.
Yeah,
Guitar, not
his
so
his
much.
his C minor arpeggios.
It's the only key that matters is C minor. No other
a good
key
key.
matters. C minor, A minor, and of course the relative majors. What's the relative to C minor? That's B flat major.
Theory is
Yeah.
for me.
I went to school.
You did. I mean, I did.
did.
I did piano. I remember I went to actual classes for piano like early. I think it was like a 3rd or 4th
How did that
grade
go
thing.
for you?
It lasted all of a month. I
It
think.
lasted all of a month.
Or like one like.
Is it because you didn't
season of
practice?
it.
Is it because you didn't practice, or was it?
Because I remember I played long enough that we did like a concert, like with like my parents came and shit,
Oh no shit!
and I had like one concert.
I
and it
had
was
no
bad.
idea. Was it bad?
It was actually kind of bad because I was playing the song that I was like, oh, I'm gonna nail it, but the second I actually got on the stage and just like froze the fuck up.
What was the first song you ever learned on piano? Can you remember? Do you have a functional memory that goes that far back?
Yeah, like I'll remember stupid shit. Like I won't remember what the fuck I did like 2 weeks ago, but I will pick up something that happened to me in like 4th grade on a summer day, and it's like, oh, I remember that, very selective memory.
My first piano song ever was Twinkle Twinkle Little Stars. And then there was my first guitar song, which was Yankee Doodle. And since then, Yankee Doodle I can play on any instrument you give me. Like you give me like 20 minutes in an empty room, I will figure out Yankee Doodle on whatever instrument you give me. I don't care what it is. I will figure it out.
You're like, hold on, let me just set myself up.
Yeah.
I've done. I think it was "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star" is what I learned on the piano.
So we're about 1 minute away from starting the actual stream. If you have joined us in the pre-stream,
Yes.
The pre-stream bullshittery.
Yeah, it's the tomfoolery, the clusterfuckery.
The clusterfuckery. The malarkey.
Malarkey, yes.
Lots of malarkey happening pre-stream.
So there's going to be a test. I have this cool little remote in my hand.
He's
through an
got a
app.
fancy remote, so he doesn't have to get up
Let's see if we can kind of see
and
it.
play with his computer.
Oh, shit.
Nobody cares about your phone, Chris.
See that
Oh,
shit.
look at that. He's got a remote. It's
Little
out of
app.
focus and everything.
Yeah, now you...
Even if I go in too far or too close, perhaps we'll work with it.
So what do you think? We do intro and then we introduce, or how do we want to do
No,
it?
I mean, by far, do the intro. I spent a lot of time doing this intro.
We should have
Cheers
like a
and thank you.
timer on that wall so we can see exactly when it's about to hit.
Literally, there's a clock on your computer. There was
Yeah,
one
but
on
it's
your
like-
phone. There was one on that phone. There
but
was
not like
one
down
on
to
my
the
watch.
second where we can just like boom.
Look, exactly midnight. See, you got the second clock right there.
All
Midnight,
right,
I mean,
here we go.
midday. Way to ruin it. Bros and brolettes.
Vikings and Valkyries.
Welcome to Iron Theory.
A podcast about fitness and everything in between.
I am Arthur,
I'm Chris. Here we are again.
and we're the hosts.
We are the hosts. Hello, everybody.
We've spent a lot of time in the gym. What is by far the weirdest thing, or maybe the strangest or most embarrassing or worst experience you've had at a gym?
I feel like there's like a greatest hits album for me, but I mean, I feel like a lot of people experience this one. If you're going on you're about to do like a bench press, and you're going for a little bit heavier weight, you get a little overzealous with it. So I'm like, okay, well I did about I squeezed out 4 reps on the last one, so I'm
Big
gonna
oof.
put on like another 20 pounds or whatever because stupid, young kid. And the bar just pins me down. You're standing there. You're trying to figure out how the fuck. Okay, you're like this.
Yes.
You look left, right. You're like, okay, I don't want to really ask somebody, so I'm gonna just kind of slowly make it more awkward.
The roll of shame.
Yeah. Like,
Oh, the roll of shame. I feel like the roll of shame is it's the first step. It's one of those, it's the first step. It's before you're confident enough to ask another gym goer to spot you, and it's just your way out. It's before you develop the humbleness required to ask for help, but you still have the ambition of wanting to pretend you can pick heavy things up.
I mean, especially if you're like a new person, like we've all been that new person in the gym because like if you set up that goal, you tell yourself, okay, I'm gonna do this, and I need a gym membership. You go into the gym, and it could be, I would say it could be pretty intimidating at first, especially like, okay, I'm about to do a bench press, asking somebody who's more, seasoned than I am for help.
I'm gonna judge
That's
you.
hard.
You're gonna waste their time.
So that was I guess mine. I've tripped on stairs a few times. How about you?
I also have a greatest hits.
Oh yeah.
So, you see, I during the winter I go keto because I do not like cardio, and I hate cardio more than I love carbs. So during the winter, when it's way too cold to bike, which is the only type of cardio that I find acceptable, way to bring everything out of focus. I'll go keto to make sure my weight doesn't fluctuate as bad during the winter. Now the transition into keto is not as bad as people like to think. They'll give you all this stuff about, you get the keto flu, and I was like, no. The transition back out of keto.
Now, what is keto flu? Actually, I'm not familiar with that.
So keto flu is the weird feeling of sluggishness and sickness. Some people do actually develop a fever when you're going into keto, when your body is adjusting away from using carbs. There's about like a 1-week period that some people experience that is overall sluggish, you're sore, you just kind of feel off until your body adjusts to burning fat for energy rather than carbs. Now, that transition's fine. The transition away from keto back into like a more balanced, more varied diet, that's the nightmare. Because if you don't know what carbs do in your stomach, they make you gassy as shit.
Oh yeah.
Carbs will make you very, very gassy. And so what ends up happening is you're transitioning out of keto, you're going into the gym, it's leg day. And I'm sure you know where this is going.
I think I've heard this one before, but let's tell.
So you start squatting. Everything
people
feels
who are
good on the
listening.
warm up. Everything feels good in your stomach so far. You had your oatmeal for breakfast, the best breakfast. If you're a lifter, it's always oatmeal.
It's very satiating.
Oh yes, indeed, quick digesting. So, you have your oatmeal, you go into the gym, and your warm-up squats feel great, so you start putting more weight on, and then you put on a belt, and, with a light weight, it's not too bad, you're maybe squatting in the mid-200s with a belt, no problem. And then I put 300 pounds on the bar. Now, as it turns out, 300 pounds is the cue to my gastrointestinal tract to begin experiencing disturbances.
Did you have a self spot of a sort? I guess
I don't want to call it a self spot. It's a rocket propelled propulsion.
exhaust.
That said, I know what you're thinking, but here was the worst part. You see, there was a cute girl at the gym that day.
What? When was this? How long ago?
This was an Iron Mine. This wasn't that long
ago.
ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There was a cute girl in the gym. And, of course, she just has to be setting up with the Smith machine directly next to the squat rack, doing, I don't know, a hip thrust or whatever.
We've all kind of been there.
We've all been there. I mean, it happens. It's the gym. And, yeah. Audible.
Shit yourself. I think that's what he
I did. You see, I was going to trust the fart. Fucking shat myself.
Never trust the fart.
Never trust a fart. Never trust a fart on a squat. I don't care what you need to do. I don't care what kind of weird abdominal, pelvic floor bullshit you got to think of. Like, you are going to work on your Kegels and you are going to keep your fart inside.
You better be squeezing that ass.
I don't care if you're squatting 300 or if you're squatting 850 for a PR. You do not trust a fart on a squat.
Oh, we got a new follower.
We got a new
follower.
Hello, new follower. I'm sure this is awkward. You walk into, like, the worst story ever. Sad reacts only for the girl that got away.
Fucking Mark.
F in the chat. F in the chat. F in the chat. Where are we? We're gonna F in the chat. Okay. So, that story brings us to our discussion of different types of gyms. Now, you and I have pretty much worked out in every single type of gym except maybe like a specialty gym like yoga or soulcycle or CrossFit.
I mean, I haven't had any injuries to the point where I had to go to like a corrective gym, like a what do you call them?
Oh, I did rehab for a couple of weeks.
Physical therapy.
Therapy, yeah.
Because it's a gym of a sort, right?
I guess.
Yeah.
And a physical therapist will mess you up. Like they will find your weak points and they will work them. And I don't care how strong you think you are. You walk into a physical therapist office, they will make you struggle with a 5-pound weight. They will make you cry tears of weakness.
They'll be like, okay, we'll turn it just a degree more this way.
And you're like,
well, shit, now I feel weak, right?
Wow, you bench press that much. I wonder how great your rotator cuff is. As it turns out, my rotators are garbage. If you joined us on the stream yesterday, the super top secret, we put a lot of work into our rotators and the stability. But nonetheless, what's your favorite kind of gym to work out in? Of all the gyms we've been to, commercial, your home gym, a private training gym, what so far has been your favorite gym to lift at?
I mean, if I had to choose one, if it was like, okay, well, if I had a gun to my head, I had to choose one.
Why the fuck would you ever have a gun to your head?
Well, you know what?
And your only way out is to choose a gym.
Like,
what dipshit comes up to you and be like, what kind of gym do you like? Like, what is that?
They have a loaded gun.
Why?
Like, I wonder why people say that, though. Like, why do they have to, like...
If I have a gun to my head, I would pick what? Like, what? Why is the gym choice
I'm sorry, okay, I would say...
Planet Fitness, oh my god.
Okay, because you want to get out of it. Because, like, okay, was that the wrong answer? I don't know.
Continue.
I would say if I have a fully functioning home gym, I would say the home gym is probably my favorite. If it has everything that I would personally require in that gym. Now, with that being said, that's why I think it's such a tough thing for me to kind of just like, the hill that I would want to die on is because,
what
if you're...
What is it with guns and dying today? With
guns, dying, hills,
You are on a hill. If you are on a hill, like, what... Are we doing HIIT hill runs?
If you're squatting 850 for a PR, it's perfectly acceptable to crap yourself.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay.
But like the commercial gym, like if it, I think most of us have been to a commercial gym in some point. If you're watching this channel, you've probably been to some kind of commercial gym. It's just nice to see, you know, other people trying to achieve their goals. So it sometimes will push you. I feel like it's the environment of just having this, you know, you'll see those super strong guys. You're like, oh shit, I better kind of have this accountability for myself because they might be watching, that kind of a thing. But I would still say home gym probably.
Okay. I like the private gym. I like the so not a home gym, but like an actual, like, this is a gym. So I mean, in Chicago, you get what you got: Quads, BMW, Iron Mine, Barbell Compound. So those kind of gyms, like the serious training gyms, you don't get the crowd from the commercial gyms because they don't have any of the fancy stuff or services or extra features that a commercial gym might have. But they're well equipped, they got plenty of weight, and the crowd there is there to put in work.
That's true.
And I love that environment. And even if we souped up our home gym, I would still maintain my membership at the privately owned gym. Just because every now and then, you know, you make friends there. You get your gym bros there. You talk with them. You get to know who they are. You know their kids' names and stuff.
Right.
And I kind of like that. It's a very empowering atmosphere to be in. So let's just pick a gym. Here. Let's start with the home gym because you said you prefer the home gym.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at the pros and cons of a home gym. What are the benefits? Why do you prefer? Why do you like having a home gym?
So I guess the biggest pro for me is typically I'm the only one using the equipment, right? Unless it's like you. So I don't have to wait for equipment. So that's a big plus for me. I can just jump from doing a bench press into, you know, using the same bench for a push-up and then in that same breath do like a lateral raise without having to feel like I'm an asshole hoarding a bunch of equipment or waiting on something and then just kind of losing that pump and kind of going cold, right? So especially in like busier times in the evenings. So that'd be a big pro for me. I mean, you say, so are we sticking with the home gym?
Yeah, let's stick with the home gym.
So what would be a pro for you if you were in a home gym?
In that you do have control over everything, right? You get to pick whatever the hell music you want to listen to that day. Yesterday we were lifting up to Enya for a little bit.
Yeah,
like you get to pick.
No rules.
No rules. It's your gym. You get to do whatever you want. But I also like that it adds a little bit of accountability, right? It's your equipment, so you're going to take care of it. You keep it clean. You are responsible. You are in charge of this space. And I think that adds just that little extra bit of care. Like, hey, wow, these are my weights. This is my barbell. Perhaps I'm not going to drop it quite as hard. I'm going to try to increase the longevity of this equipment.
I would say like even like another pro would be I mean, yeah, pretty much what I said before, but
It is the convenience.
Right. and because like in because it's a garage gym, because some people will have a home gym and, you know, maybe it's in the basement, so the, you know, the ceiling might be a little lower, so I guess that would be a con
And pretty
in that sense.
poor ventilation. The entire basement just starts to smell of
Yeah. So I mean, depending if you did your
Sweat.
laundry, you know, like there could be other factors within your home
Discharge.
where you're like, okay, well, this, you know, this isn't very pleasant.
no.
You know.
So let's look at and I feel like this is the weird one because the benefit of the home gym is definitely the convenience. It's yours. When you develop the caffeine shits, you get to go to your own bathroom, which is
Yeah,
you know,
I could
king
just
of the
run.
castle.
Yep.
I think the biggest con, and I think this is something that you and I realized very quickly, is it is expensive as hell.
Yeah, I mean, like, just buying equipment, especially, I mean, like, this was a special case. I feel like because of the whole situation that, you know, that the whole country's kind of been in, a lot of people have been kind of blowing up the prices a little bit, so I think that had to do with something with that. But nonetheless, like, gym equipment is not cheap, especially if we're talking, like, barbells, you know, getting enough plates of weight, you know, just to have, you know, especially if you're a bit more of a seasoned lifter.
Yeah, dude, plates are expensive. We spent what? I think we bought our plate set for, was it about $500, $600
It was like I think it was like four. It was
or
like four
somewhere around
seventy
there?
five or something like
I
that.
think we lucked out because people were selling them for a lot,
Yeah.
and that's barely. I mean, altogether, it's barely 335 pounds of weight.
Right.
Like that, you're still in my warm up territory.
I mean, yeah,
Deadlift.
like Mr. Powerlifter.
So it is very very expensive,
Yeah.
ridiculously expensive. I kind of wonder, like, how long would you need to own your own equipment, your own gym, before it divides into like a commercial gym? So a commercial gym is what? It's usually like $20 a month, 30 if you're getting a higher end, or then like the crazy ones
Different packages
like
and stuff.
Equinox, which is
Yeah, that's super
some
bougie.
septillion.
I mean, they
health
have like
club.
they have
Yeah.
like towel service in their bathrooms and shit.
Yeah,
you know?
ridiculous. Yeah. So I wonder, like, together we probably put so far what, like $1,800-$1,900
Total.
into this equipment, and we don't even have that much equipment. I mean, divide that out. Like you have to be going to a commercial gym for like 3 or 4 years to get that same price. So that home gym after 4 years kind of pays for itself,
Right.
away from. But after 4 years, I mean, how much equipment do you have to replace?
Right. I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's another thing. So I guess this would be also a con in the home gym. So I guess we could talk a few cons about the home gym. Is that there is wear and tear. So what happens? It's up to you to replace the equipment. Whereas like if you're in like a some kind of chain gym, big gym, the management or whoever's owning the gym is probably going to replace that equipment, right? So
Yep.
it's not really on you. You're still paying that price for the membership, so that doesn't change. So that'd be a pretty big con.
But I think you're right. There is something about having your own gym that you get to work out whenever you want. You're in charge, and that does, at the end of the day, sort of make it worth it. It's almost like a little hobby, you know. You get your own sort of It's like your gym. It's ownership. It's like owning a new car.
Right.
It's a status symbol almost, a little bit.
I mean, I just
Yeah.
closed on my home. It's like pretty much in that same thing, same idea where it's like, oh shit, I own this now.
I don't know who this dude in the stream is saying build your own equipment. Do I look like
I'm definitely
a carpenter?
carpenter, yeah, machinist.
We were putting the squat rack together, and I think we put about 80% of it together until we realized we put the support beams on backwards,
Yeah, and then
and we had to redo it. Like, I don't even mean building your own equipment. We barely put together the equipment that somebody else built. We are not.
yeah, so I mean, it was just like fidgeting around with it with the right tool.
Oh my god.
I mean, it wasn't like crazy rocket science or anything like that, but like I guess when you're in the moment, you're just like, all right, you just want to get it done. Especially if you're impatient, you just want to get it done.
and it was like 120 degrees.
It was hot in this fucking garage. You're
was
trying to put this
intense.
power rack together. You're
All right.
sweating.
Commercial gym. So let's talk about commercial gyms, because I still maintain my membership with a commercial gym. I have my private gym membership, my commercial gym membership. I really need to consolidate. I gotta drop one
You
of
gotta
them.
figure
It's getting
something
expensive.
out.
I gotta figure something out. So I've got my commercial gym membership, and every now and then I'll go, because sometimes you just want the massive variety of equipment. You want to walk in, and maybe a commercial gym will just have an extra, weird arm thing that you feel like doing that day. So what I think commercial gyms really have that's good is all the additional services, right? The sauna, the steam room. I know that some of the locations in a few commercial gyms that we have here have a barber shop, a smoothie shop, like a full service store, and you get to buy equipment there too.
Now, I mean, what's your I guess opinion on that? Because I know like if somebody who's like a hardcore lifter or whatever, they're not fans of that kind of service. You think that's an okay thing to be in like a gym, I just watched a video today actually, because I was watching some videos on what people were kind of talking about, as far as gym culture. Surprisingly, not a lot. there wasn't a lot of content on what we're gonna kind of talk about today. But in any case, so this person had an issue with that gyms aren't the same anymore because now they put in a juice bar, and he went off on a tangent about
That's the market. Fitness, and I think here is where I haven't heard his argument, but I think here's where people are missing. If you want a hardcore gym, you should not be in a commercial gym. If you want a dirty, I don't want to say dirty, but if you want a grungy lifting, like everybody here is like, yeah, we're lifters, you should not be in a commercial gym to begin with. There's plenty of private gyms that are not that expensive. In fact, the one I'm part of is cheaper than Export in some cases, depending on what kind of membership level you have. If you want that kind of experience, you should not be in a commercial gym.
Yeah. So, I mean, it comes down to the experience you're kind of looking for, right? I would say for general population, why commercial gyms are commercial gyms is because, a lot of people that are just trying to shed some pounds, that's like we mentioned Planet Fitness in our first episode. It's somewhere where they can at least start their journey and slowly kind of get more comfortable doing this routine because that's what it's kind of about,
Or even if it's just like general fitness, like I have no intention of being super huge. I have no intention of being super strong. I just every now and then, maybe twice a week, I like to walk in, maybe spend some time on the treadmill, maybe do arms a little bit, get the dad bod going,
Hey.
It's a great place if you just want to work out every now and then, and you want the benefits of maybe having a swimming pool, every now and then. I think commercial gyms are awesome in that regard. Now, the people.
So that's definitely, man, that could be an episode in and of itself, but...
And here's the culture part.
The culture, so...
When I think about the stereotypical idea of what, like, a gym bro is, I don't see that in professional gyms. I don't see that in training gyms. I don't see that there. When I think about what the stereotypical gym bro is like, yeah, man, it's just an arms.
So we're talking like just pure caricature.
Yeah. Oh, pure caricature. I mean, like, spot me.
Half rep, bounce off, that kind of a thing.
The amount of times I see that in a commercial gym. And I get it. It's one thing if you're unexperienced and you don't know. I get that. And you're young and you're probably not going to hurt yourself because your body at that point is virtually indestructible. Like, you'll be fine. But if I see you doing it day in, day out, consistently and incorrectly, thinking you're getting strong, the culture there in some gyms is so unwelcoming, even to, like, experienced lifters. The equipment is, like, all over the place. People tend not to return equipment to their correct locations. They leave shit on the bars. They don't re-rack their weights. And they hog equipment, like you mentioned earlier, about, like, not feeling like a dick at home because you just get to hog your own equipment.
Right. Because it's mine.
And it kind of kills me because we're all paying the same money. So, I mean, I guess you have all the right to use the equipment that we do. But if you're drop setting and you're doing like 7 drop sets and you're hogging everything from like the 70s down to the 20s, dude, like, don't do that during peak hours. If you want to come in at fucking 5 a.m. in the morning when there's nobody there, by all means, Godspeed, do that. But
I mean,
I would 6 p.m.
I would argue that, I mean, I still think you would see that kind of a person in the gyms you mentioned previously, like a more private gym or professional gym.
Oh,
or whatever,
they exist
because of the niche that they're kind of in, because
they get shamed.
Yeah, that's true. But I would still say that you'll still
gym.
find them there because I feel like, even like you mentioned how like a home gym gives like status, right? I feel like people will join these smaller gyms as like almost like a status symbol.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
I see, like, I work out at Quads.
Right, exactly. So they feel very special, just like, and then somebody who's in a commercial gym they might look down upon. And so I guess there's a debate there, we don't have to go into it.
I mean, that's fair.
But,
you make a valid point.
But
I mean, it's just the strange culture there, and it's kind of hard to describe unless you're there and you experience it. It's almost semi-aggressive the way people will use equipment,
And we're
the way
talking
it'll
still
interact with.
commercial, right?
Yeah, we're still talking commercial.
Okay. I mean, I agree. So I'm a personal trainer in a commercial gym, and I see. I mean, that's the one thing about commercial gyms is that you'll see all walks of life in these gyms because you just have to pay for the membership, and most of these gyms are 24 hours typically. So you're gonna have different kinds of people, different personalities, different goals. So you're gonna have just this vast variety of people versus, like you mentioned, the private gyms and these more professional gyms. You're gonna get a bit more of a homogenized type of a person versus, in the commercial gyms. So, that could be a con, right? There are too many cooks in the kitchen, so to speak, when you're trying to do specific exercises.
I don't know. It's one of those. I mean, I still intend to maintain my membership at these commercial gyms because every now and then you just kind of want to go. You want the quick variety of things. They're definitely larger, and commercial gyms have more equipment than private training gyms. So every now and then you just want to go because there just happens to be a larger variety of equipment. Right, the equipment is not as sports specific as a private training gym.
Right.
And sometimes you just want to go with friends, The commercial gym I'm part of, they allow guest passes. So sometimes you just want to work out with a friend, and that's totally fine.
The convenience factor is, I think, big, right? So with commercial gyms, typically they might have a few locations. So, if you're going to one specific gym, it's only one location. So it might be way out of the way for some people. It might be convenient for somebody. Yeah, of course, if you're living right next to it, it's going to be that's where you're going to go. But if you're in a commercial gym, typically they'll have a few locations. One's closer. Your friend might be a little bit more down a certain way. So you're like, all right, we'll meet halfway in this location. So that's kind of a benefit, I would say.
One last benefit of a commercial gym, and I think this one is going to be very specific to our experience at Logan Square. Because CM Punk works out at the Logan Square Export.
So I feel like, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, you like I said, like you'll get a variety of people. So sometimes even like celebrities will pop in. If they're in town, it's easier for them to go to like a gym like that because it's in the area. I mean, he happens to live in the area, so that's
and let's
the exception.
be fair, you are less likely to be recognized in a commercial gym as a professional athlete than you might in one of those private gyms.
Exactly.
And I think that's a fair point. All right. Let's actually move on to these professional training gyms. So by professional training gym, I don't want to say like it's a gym only for professionals or anything. It is a gym that has a very niche market, has a very specific market. It's a powerlifting gym. It's a strongman gym. And it's an Olympic weightlifting gym. It's a gym that is very specific to it targets a particular crowd, right? It's not trying to be a gym for everybody. It's not trying to be like a commercial gym like, hey, everybody's welcome here. We got this cardio, we got this and that, like basketball court. No, it's a very specific type of gym. And there's a few in Chicago. There's actually plenty in Chicago that are very specific. We have a handful of Olympic weightlifting gyms. We have a couple of powerlifting gyms. We have a couple of just everything. We have one actual strongman gym, right? Barbell Compound has a lot of strongman equipment. I think the biggest strongman gym in Illinois is actually in Wheaton. I'm trying to remember the name now, but there is another professional training gym, but it's way out there. I love training at one of these gyms. The equipment is very specific. So when I go to I haven't been there in so long because of COVID, and I'm just trying to keep myself and my mom safe.
Yeah, of course.
They have a leg press. And it's unilateral. It's just like it's a regular leg press, but then you get to do it one leg at a time.
I've seen that one.
Yeah, it's awesome, and it's very specific types of equipment. They have they have the benches with the swing arms and stuff that you just won't find. Expensive equipment, and the owner like genuinely gives a shit about what his members want. So he will buy
input.
so he looks for your input. I think that's the best thing about a private gym because it is privately owned and you don't have to go through like upper management bureaucratic bullshit.
Right.
If you want a piece of equipment, eventually you may actually get it there, especially if it serves the purpose of the gym. So I think that's one of the biggest pros of a professional training gym. If you're in a gym that has a very specific market, like if it's a powerlifting gym, you're going to have powerlifting equipment there. You're going to have chains. You're going to have bands. You're going to have the variety of benches. You're going to have the couple of different types of bars that will be available for you. And I think if you have a very specific goal in mind, one of those gyms is awesome.
I mean, especially like the more unique equipment, especially if somebody, let's say, who's a bodybuilder, right? And they want to train a very specific muscle group, and this specific piece of equipment is hitting that, area a little bit more differently than what you would typically think you would do to hit, let's say the shoulders or something like that. So people will look out for those types of gyms, especially that like the more extreme, athletes that we kind of mentioned before. Oh, yeah. They want that kind of equipment, so it's beneficial to them.
I mean, we got like 5 different calf raise things there. Like we have a standing, a sitting, a donkey. Like
it all hits different. Yeah, it all hits
differently. So that's awesome. The con is there really is no other service there.
And I would say, I mean, the size too. I would argue also is, especially in peak hours, because even though it's a private gym, they will have a certain capacity in their gym. So in their peak hours, they might actually be pretty stacked to the rim, and you don't have the ability to go to another location right there. That's the only place that you're able to be. So I guess that would be, I would say that's a con in a sense.
I have run into that problem. There is one deadlift platform. There are 2 squat racks, and if somebody's working there, I mean, it's especially if there's a power lifter there. Hey, they ain't leaving that squat rack for at least another few hours.
So just to kind of bounce back to like the commercial gym, like you and me have had this experience where we would go when we used to live a little further up in like inner city Chicago. We would bounce between a few gyms. So if one gym, was occupied, or, we were trying to do like squats and stuff and all the racks were all taken, we're like, okay, well, we could just go to the other gym across town, the same commercial gym chain, but, it was a different location.
That's
so
like 15 minutes away. And you can always tell by the parking lot. Like how busy a place is by looking at the parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
I want to... These professional gyms, and I think sometimes it really depends where you are and who you are as a person, but they are sort of unpredictable. I have heard horror stories of members of private gyms being absolute, just terrible people.
Joe's 5,000.
Yeah, it's an expensive piece. And I think because when you get into one of those gyms, there are actual professional athletes there. I mean, IFBB pros, you have USAPL powerlifters, legitimate competing athletes will train there. And I feel like there sometimes is this sort of cult of personality around there. I know Barbell Compound because a lot of the former members of Barbell Compound in Chicago ended up coming to Iron Mind Gym, where I work out at. And you just I heard horror stories. I mean, just how terrible people were, how the coaches there were just like loud, taking up space, being terrible, assholes in it. And I think that is a very specific kind of con to these sort of very niche, specific type of training gyms. Is that the crowd can be a mixed bag, depending on what the established culture of the gym is.
Because I mean, if we further emphasize it, and I feel like we can, like for gym culture, and we're going overtime because who gives a fuck?
Who cares?
Because we can talk about shit like this
it's
for
our
days.
podcast. We can do whatever the hell we want.
Right. So like with gym culture, and I think that's another thing we can cover on the next episode too, is the more specific like the culturalistic aspects, like where we're talking about like the different pockets of people and like perceptions of what a gym is to that person, right? So you mentioned the coaches and stuff like that. For like general population, like they would probably be intimidated by all of that. So that's why we mentioned Planet Fitness and these commercial gyms, more accessible to the person who's trying to just be healthy, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, just in it for just generalized fitness.
What do you think is what do you think, like, for like the average Joe is what's their preconception of like a gym? What do you think is like, okay, like whoever Joe Schmo's walking and he's like, I want to be fit. What do you think he's gonna be thinking the second he steps in a gym? What's his expectation, you think?
I mean, it really depends, because when you have, and I hate this, and I think this is we are portrayed. I mean, gyms are portrayed in the media, in TV shows, in commercials. Like, I remember the Planet Fitness commercial was like, it was just this dirty place with like somebody yelling and screaming, like being totally unwelcoming.
Right.
I think even
I
a
remember
commercial
that.
gym that's I think that's the conception that a lot of people have about the gym. Oh, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna feel intimidated. People are gonna look. Nobody gives a shit about you.
Right. I mean, just
Nobody cares about, unless you're being an asshole, unless you are actively being a nuisance and you're like hogging weights or anything. If you're just at the gym, nobody even notices. Nobody cares about you.
right, because everybody is in their own lane, I would say. Because like I'll be in a commercial gym for hours on end when I'm working. I'm with clients and stuff. So a lot of the times people are either almost like in high school. If you remember, there were cliques, right?
Oh, yeah.
In high school, and a lot of these like types of fitness people are in their cliques, and I'll see it all the time. So you'll have those guys who are the power lifters, and they're doing their deadlifts or whatever exercise they're doing, and then you can even like further stretch that out. There's like the young kids who are trying to be power lifters, and then you have the general population all on the treadmills at the bottom, and that's usually where it's kind of like taken up. So it's just a very interesting dynamic, and I guess the preconception of the gym to the average person that might have never stepped in one or hasn't been in one for a while is, I would say the same thing. Is like especially we have social media and all this stuff just in your face, so you're always like scrolling through the feed. Like, I'll even scroll now through my phone, and you'll see these guys going crazy in the gym, especially for like these advertisements for these products they're trying to do. They're lifting super hard, and that in itself could intimidate like the regular person. So
And I can see that. And I remember walking into a gym for the first time. Technically, I was in like 7th grade, but I don't even count that period, right? I count my first time in a gym in Planet Fitness when I was trying to lose weight, And I remember what that felt like, walking into the gym and knowing I am the fattest person there.
I mean, did you really generally think that was like that was the thought in your
Well,
mind?
that wasn't subjective. I was objectively the heaviest
Right,
fucking
yeah, I
person
know.
in that gym, and it was intimidating, because you see all these people who are definitely fitter than you, and then you realize they don't give a shit that you're there. They don't care what you're doing. They don't care. I mean, eventually, I was no longer the fattest dude in the gym anymore.
Which is a good problem to have, I guess.
And
right?
I think that's if somebody is listening to, I don't know why you'd be listening to a fitness podcast if you're not already going to a gym, but in case you are,
Right.
if you are considering going to the gym and you're afraid or you're for some reason intimidated, please know, people who are there are much more into themselves than they are into you.
Definitely.
They do not care about you unless you're getting in the way, and I mean really in the way. They're not going to talk to you. They're not going to look at you. They don't care about you.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's everybody's kind of in their zone. So if somebody's who's actually trying to, do their workout, they like, I know, at least from my personal experience, when I exercise, when I'm doing training, I try to zone out, unless I'm with a training partner like you or somebody like that. Then there's that dynamic. But typically, if I'm by myself, I'm usually pretty tunnel vision with it. So I'll do my lifts. I'll put the weights back. I might get hyped up a little bit, go back, but it's usually very very much just very focused. for me.
I agree. I mean, when I'm in the gym alone, I headphones on, let's go. It's me. I want to get in, get out. I want to get it over with. Now my workouts are not
A little different.
20 minute rest sets, but at the end of the day, I just want to, if I'm there alone and I'm not with my bros, just leave me alone. I want to get through my workout and I want to go. Let's move on to the last topic here, which are specialty gyms.
Yes. So, I mean, you had a little bit of experience with that.
It's even hard to call them specialty gyms because, I mean, I guess they fall under these professional private gyms, but I don't want to call them. When I say specialty, I mean like this is a CrossFit gym and everybody here does CrossFit. This is a yoga studio. Everybody here does yoga. This is SoulCycle. So that's what I'm talking about. I mean, a very specialty gym that has its own sort of culture built in.
One type of program.
One type. It's one thing.
Orange Theory. That's another one. They have
Orange Theory. Yeah. The specialty gyms that have a very specific mission. They have a very specific type of person who goes there, and they have a very specific program that they cater to. I've never been to one. I mean, I guess I've been to PT, but and physical therapy, but I don't. That doesn't count. That to me is a medical visit.
Yeah. So I mean, I would say definitely that. I mean, I personally have not either. Like, I know my brother, I think, and his boyfriend, they go to Orange Theory occasionally. I mean, I know the structure, right? Like, so like I just would entertain and just kind of like do research on these gyms just to kind of see what they kind of do. Is it effective? Do people like it? Stuff like that. So it's like very much like a club. It feels very much like a club.
Yeah.
So I mean, I have no experience being in one, so I can't really like speak about it as much. But I mean, it's cool. I guess like people like that's another thing that people are like, yeah, like I like going here, and they feel like they're part of a community because everybody's doing the same thing.
I think that's what it is. And the thing about specialty gyms is it is a culture of community and camaraderie. It's when you're in SoulCycle or whatever they call it nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, you are all struggling on that bike. You are all following a leader. You are all doing this. You're all in it together. If you're doing the DDR or I don't know what to call it.
Right.
If you're in a dance fitness
Zumba.
studio, Zumba or something,
Right.
You all get it. You're all in it together. You're all doing the same thing. There is a very specific type of camaraderie and support system that comes from everybody around you doing exactly what you're doing. And even CrossFit, and this is why I'm putting CrossFit into a specialty gym and not like a sport-specific training gym.
Sure.
Because it is, the WOD, the workout of the day. It's everybody's doing exactly the same thing. You're all training this style.
Right.
And I think it's the culture of camaraderie and like mutual understanding there is unmatched to any other gym. Because we mentioned this, like, in chain gyms, commercial gyms, and even professional gyms, you might have people there with slightly different goals. I mean, my squad is split, right? You have the power lifters and the strength athletes, and you have the bodybuilders, and they obviously have very, very different goals.
Right.
If you're in one of these specialty gyms, you all pretty much have the same goal, and that's to get through the damn workout.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like how I'm kind of zoned out, and how we could say that most people in like a commercial gym or somebody who's just trying to be, get their own personal workout, it's a different dynamic versus what you just mentioned. So yeah, I mean, it's all good. Eventually everybody has their goal set in mind, right? So I'm still gonna get what I'm trying to get the most out of in my specific gym or training program or goal, and that person who's sought out these kinds of gyms are also gonna get what they're kind of trying to look for. So I mean, in the end, as long as you're achieving that goal, right?
And it's like going to God, I hate making this analogy, but you know exactly what you're gonna get. I mean, if you're in a yoga studio anywhere, it's like going to Wendy's. Like, you know exactly what's there. You know exactly what's going to happen.
I mean, it's true.
There's a certain type of consistency of expectations.
Right.
Like, you know exactly what's going to be there, and you know exactly what to expect no matter where you are. And I think that's kind of the weird benefit of a specialty gym. It's hard to say. It's hard to find a con of a specialty gym because if you're in a specialty gym or if you're in a specialty program, you're there for exactly what you want. I don't think there's like if your goal is yoga and you're in a yoga studio, yeah, okay.
I mean, what do you expect?
I
Like
mean,
you're not going to be a
yeah,
powerlifter
yeah,
going
you
into
ain't gonna be powerlifting.
a yoga, a yoga studio. So
Oh my God, could you imagine like Berkram style like hot powerlifting?
yes, I'd say, man, maybe that's something we could think of. Maybe that's a we can find that niche group.
Hot lifting,
Oh man, hot power.
hot power.
Yeah,
It's
something
just
like that.
it's just a gym that's kept consistently at 100 degrees, like 99% humidity,
I'm actually kind of curious to go to a gym like that.
and you are
I mean, that's the garage.
well, that's the garage
That's the
gym.
garage.
We've been doing it. We've been doing.
We are the prototype.
We
for
are the
that.
prototype. Do you? I feel good after those workouts. I feel like I don't. You know what?
Yeah.
That's a discussion for off camera.
Yes.
Our
Yeah.
business dealings with hot lifting, lifting in Texas. Yeah, we got this dude lifting in Texas exactly like that.
Yes.
Oh, now I know who this Alberto kid is. He's and I already forgot his name. What's my problem with names?
Who is he?
Now, here's ironically the dude in the Twitch stream who just said lifting in Texas is exactly that. He was a student in a class that I observed as part of getting my teacher license.
Really?
Yeah, whose name I don't remember. I'm not gonna remember. But he moved to Texas for a job. But
That's cool.
we randomly saw each other at Iron Mine. We're like, hey, I know you. You were.
Oh, that's cool.
I know. Like you meet people everywhere. Oh God, I don't think I ever want to see one of my kids in a gym. I will go out of my way to avoid seeing any of my students in a gym. Like,
I mean,
listen,
that's-
kids, you do not need to know who I am outside of work. Like we all put on a mask where we are. You know, I don't need my kids knowing who Jim Bro Mr. W
Right.
is. Like, fuck that. I do not need you knowing who I am as a Jim Bro. Like, no way. And I don't need my Jim Bros knowing who I am as a science teacher.
I mean,
They're like, you don't.
I guess I'm in a weird different like
Yeah.
situation because the gym is my occupation, so it's kind of like even if I'm in the gym and I'm actually training anybody, I'm still doing what I do.
Oh, it's still advertising.
In
point.
a sense,
Yeah.
right?
All right. So here's what I got to do. You see this time right here? You might not be in a hurry, but I am in a hurry to get somewhere. I got food to eat.
Mm-hmm.
So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, bros and brolettes, Vikings and Valkyries, thank you for spending this 40-something, an hour if you were in the pre-stream.
Yeah, it's been
An hour if you were in the pre-stream.
Shit.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Iron Theory.
Till next time, I guess we'll kind of discuss what the next topic is. It'll be a surprise, I guess.
It'll be a surprise, but
No.
it'll probably be an offshoot of this discussion.
Yeah, because
We'll
I mean, we can get pretty
go on
heavily
forever.
into this, So,
Cheers. But before I go, I do want to go on a little bit of rant. So there I was at Jewel, and